Now that you've created a shortcut to speed up the process, let's look at the interface and the layout of this document. So we have AI Patterns Practice open. It was a starter file you can download. First, let's look at the Layers panel over here. Under Layers, you have Pattern Experiments and Pattern Tiles. And right now my thumbnails are really small, so I like to make those bigger when I work. So I'm clicking, if you missed that, I'm clicking right here on these little lines. That opens up the Options panel. And then I like to come down to Panel Options. And I wish this would stick like between documents, but it doesn't seem to like to. And I like to work around 60 just so I can see the big thumbnails. This right here, the top one, is this artboard, this rectangle. So what is an artboard? Just as a review. So if I come over, we have one large artboard. It's 1980 by 1020. And then we have these little squares down here. There's 2 rows of 12. There's 24 total. Those are 24 smaller artboards. So if we're working on layers, if I come over to artboards, you'll notice I have 24 artboards. That's these down here. And then the pattern preview artboard. So what is an artboard? Think about an artboard as it's a piece of paper. And then what we're looking at in this middle part of the Illustrator window, you can think about that as like a desktop. And I have all these pieces of paper arranged on my desktop. And what we're going to do is, if you look, this is the pattern preview artboard. That's this big one. And all I drew was a big rectangle that's filled with white. And you'll see why in a minute. Up here, if I click on artboard, if I double click, right, it zooms me into artboard 1 and I can rename it. I like to just click in the empty space. We don't need to worry about renaming all these right now. But if I click here, it zooms me in and I'm working in this particular artboard. Then if I do Command Option 0, it zooms all the way back out. So if I look under View, and there's some options here under View. Oop, yeah, it's View. So if we look under View, and there's Zoom In, there's Zoom Out, there's Fit Artboard in Window, which is Command 0. That means I have this artboard selected, and I hit Command 0, it zooms in, right? But I have 25 artboards, so that's View, Fit All in Window, which is Option Command 0. So Option Command 0. Alright. Another thing to think about, blue layer, which is the top layer right here. Mine, it says Pattern Experiments. That is, or Pattern Preview Board. That's this thing right here. Once you make the pattern, you want to test it out on a shape to see what it looks like. That's why the shape's here. Down here is your pattern tiles. All of these things where you draw the shapes that you're going to use to create a pattern out of. And it's good to know what you're working on. So you notice this is red. If I were to take a shape, like let's say I take a ellipse, and I'm going to fill the ellipse with black. So let me double click in there. I'm just going to go into black for my ellipse. And I have my smart guides on. So somewhere in the middle, I'm just going to draw this ellipse. And you notice the bounding box is red because the layer is red. So I know that I'm drawing on this pattern tile layer. If I was clicked on here, it wouldn't really hurt you in this project, but you would notice as soon as I start drawing, it's blue. Alright? It's blue, and the bounding box is blue because the layer is blue. But I don't want to draw the elements on that layer. So that's one little tip just to make sure that you're drawing on the right layers. So I have this pattern element. It's on the pattern tile layer or pattern element layer. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use that shortcut key to quickly make a pattern out of it.